Hello, everyone, and welcome to DCEU Mania. We are on our last day for the week, and then finally we get a couple days of reprieve from this, Austin. Tonight we're tackling Shazam. This is, what are we on, our 7th or 8th movie at this point?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay, yeah.
So tonight we're doing another double feature, splitting up 2 streams again. It's Shazam, and then we're doing Birds of Prey and the fantabulous, etc., etc., etc. of Harley Quinn, movie that I have not seen since the theater and have been dreading this entire time. But we're gonna do it. This is, in my mind, even though we've done some pretty bad movies this week, Austin, like the weakest double feature so far. We'll see how it goes, because I haven't seen either of these in well, I say that. Shazam I watched again right before the sequel came out, but now that's been a little while.
Yeah, I don't know. Yesterday ended up being a way harder double feature than I expected, so...
I thought we had some good discussion, though. Justice League was a challenge, I'm not going to lie. Aquaman, kind of less so for me. It was kind of easier just to like riff a little and respond to things and reminisce a little bit, because I hadn't seen that in so long. Oh yeah, that's right, this happens, and there's that scene that's kind of fun, at least for me, because I enjoyed that more than Austin. I didn't have a great watch last night, but I still like it more than you do. And then you get to him and Amber Heard in the desert for half an hour, and I'm like, I want to be anywhere else. But why do the needle drops have to start happening there? It's like, I already hate this dynamic, and now the soundtrack gets bad. I don't know what's happening there. It's like it turns into a different movie. And I said that movie didn't have tonal issues, but I lied about that.
Yeah, it's going to take us a lot to drag us away from those needle drops, I guess.
But anyway, so getting into Shazam, we're now finally in our first movie that's not really touching the Snyder stuff like at all. This is where it really starts to feel like it's branching even further away from the original kind of tone and feel of the DCEU. Not that we haven't already course corrected really hard, like we keep talking about, and try to lighten things up quite a bit and get away from the Snyder of it all. But this is the first character, like all by itself, that's not remotely connected to anything we've seen before. Like even Suicide Squad, Batman's there for a second, and there's like a lot of connection trying to push, it's real post-death of Superman, like they're trying to kind of push that universe forward. This feels a lot more removed, even though there are references to Superman, and they do like a fake kind of crappy cameo. But other than that, this is really the first of them that feels like it's almost for a totally different audience.
This is our first Pixar film after WALL-E, right? Where it's the only one not made in that initial dinner.
Oh yeah, that's a really good call. Yeah,
good. This is the only one that's not really connected to what they were doing.
Yeah, good idea. I wouldn't have thought of that.
Yeah, just the way you were saying it, I was like, oh, it's kind of like that, I guess. Like it's like the first thing, separating what these like several movies were.
And you could argue that Aquaman's the first one that's honest to God, like trying to appeal more to kids. Justice League retroactively they're doing that, but it starts with material that isn't interested in that so much. And then Aquaman looks like a toy commercial. But this especially, maybe the difference is Aquaman's the first movie that looks like it's more for kids, and this is the first one that looks like it really wants to be an MCU movie. I know a lot of people have said that, but I think I agree with that.
Well, more than that, I think this movie really wants to be Raimi's Spider-Man. It's like a mix between Homecoming and Raimi's Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's a good point. And then just premise-wise, it goes superhero big, which seems like the most, like, obvious least common denominator way to go with it.
Yeah, but I don't know, like doing the Shazam family stuff I think is genuinely cool. Like by the time I get to that point in the movie, I'm kind of already out of it, so I don't care that much, but like it is cool that we went there.
I'm just saying that the big thing, because you and I have talked about this movie just a little bit, the big thing I agree with you on with this, and like, we used to talk about this some, and I thought I liked this movie a lot more than you do, and then I went back to it, and it didn't hold up great for me. So we'll see what this viewing is like. And again, it's a Mania, so we've not prepped for these. But the big thing I've always agreed with you on that I hadn't thought about so much until I heard you say it, and then it probably colored my last viewing of it a little bit. And people are going to say, oh, Austin sways Cap too much. Well, sometimes he's just right about things, and I get a different perspective. I go, okay, you know, maybe you're onto something. Is that I don't need Shazam himself to act so much like a child. Like, Billy Batson turning into Shazam, he's still the same person, but he shouldn't seem younger than he does when he's a kid. That was always your complaint, right? Is that he turns into Shazam and now he's and now he's playing younger than the kid is playing it, and that's weird.
Yeah, where the kid playing Billy Batson is playing like wise beyond his years. And like he's got this goal where he's like, I just want to find my mom because I've never found her. And then every time he turns into Shazam, he's just like, I'm like a goofy 5-year-old. And I don't even mind that, like, as your take, like to like really lean into him being a kid. It's just,
but it's not consistent.
I never believed they're the same person. Mm-hmm. So then when Shazam 2 comes out, and that's like the big complaint everyone has, I'm like, yeah, like I already felt that in the first one.
In a weird way, it's almost, and you haven't seen this and you don't like Smallville, but in a weird way, it's almost like the same problem. And it's funny, I'm referencing this because John Glover is in this movie, but it's kind of the same problem that the season 4 Mind Swap episode has when Clark and Lionel Luthor switch bodies, because John Glover has to try to play Tom Welling. And
I think I watched that one with you guys.
Oh, did you? And when he,
I think so.
And when he plays it, and I love John Glover, but he's not able to make me believe that character is in his body because he plays it too young.
Oh, okay.
And so it's
yeah. At the very least, I remember you complaining about it.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, I don't know why I'm talking about all this now. We should get into the movie. But anyway, if you want to watch it with us, and we encourage you to do that, again, it's a Mania. Anything goes. There are no rules. Make sure to get your movie to timestamp 0. Watch it however you want to. DVD, Blu-ray, HBO Max. All of the DCEU movies, as far as I'm aware, are on Max. I've got another cool lenticular Blu-ray here, Austin, although just for convenience I am watching these on Max, but pulling out the discs when I have them, and I might use this as an excuse to buy the ones I'm missing. I don't think I have Aquaman 2, and there's at least, do I have Blue Beetle? I think maybe I did buy Blue Beetle already, I can't remember, but we'll see when we get there.
Yeah, I'm guessing, I know you have Flash, I don't know if you have Shazam 2.
I do have Flash.
You were like, I gotta have Keaton.
No, that was actually another one where I bought it because I needed it in the background in a scene for my movie. That was the reason I went ahead and got it. Everybody bear with me for just a second here, if you would, because I don't have my clock on the screen, and I'm not sure why. It's still not showing up. There it is. Okay, cool. Now we're good to go. And then let me also mention real quick, as always, a quick plug for Patreon. If you want to weigh in on these and have your feelings aired out in public, read by Austin and I, patreon.com/geekvolution, just the $2 tier. We've got 3 questions for you there in the post that I made today. We're going to do this for all of these, and we've managed to remember to do it every time. I'm very proud of myself for that. We've got them on Discord and on Patreon. You'll have access to Discord if you go to Patreon. And if you become a patron there, and anyway, we'll read those. You can also ask us a question there, and I want to thank everybody who has done that so far, participated. We have a few questions again for these tonight, and you can leave a super chat tonight in a dollar amount, and that will guarantee that we respond to whatever you want us to talk about with this movie. That's all the news that's fit to print. Let's do it. Here we go. Let's watch Shazam! Everybody, please press play.
Shazam, let's do it.
Did you say phantasm? You become...
No, I said Shazam.
Okay. Shazam. He's pronouncing it incorrectly.
Yeah, that's always what I call this movie with friends. I'm always like, oh, it's Shazam.
He becomes Captain Marvel by saying phantasm. It makes no sense. Anyway.
Exactly.
Everybody, please press play right Now, I don't know what I'm doing. I think I'm stalling because this is one of those I don't know very well, so I'm like, I really have no idea what we're going to talk about. But again, it's a Mania. Why does this have a New Line Cinema logo?
Oh, I don't know. Is there maybe something weird with Shazam's rights? I don't know. But New Line also is owned by WB, so.
Yeah, but none of the other ones have that, and it's an official DCEU movie.
That's why I'm wondering if it's a specific Shazam thing.
It must be. That's so weird. Which puts this in that family of superhero movies that includes, but is not limited to, The Mask and Ninja Turtles and what was that movie? What's that? Blade is one of them.
And Blade.
But I was trying to remember that movie that more independent movie that you're obsessed with that we did real early on the Rewind project that you always put real high on your list. I just can't think of it. With the girl with the bowling ball.
Oh, Miracle Man. No, Mystery Men.
Mystery Men. There it is. That's also New Line, I think.
What the hell am I talking about?
I think that's New Line.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't remember offhand.
You might have expected this Magic 8 Ball to be a motif throughout the movie. I don't think it is.
Well, this started as a script for the Hasbro Magic 8 Ball movie. That's the only reason it's New Line. They were making that.
Is it foreshadowing when he says outlook not so good? Because, there's about to be this massive car crash.
Well, and because he's about to be a bad guy.
Yeah. This is a fun... Like, I can't say it's legitimately creepy, but like creepy in a 90s adventure film kind of way opening. My big takeaway when I first saw this movie was, oh, they're intentionally doing a 90s like action family film throwback movie. Like this is very much of that ilk.
When you guys did the original Marvel Mania, you had like the little board where you were counting things.
Oh, I forgot about that.
If we were doing that for this one, I think child actors would end up becoming one. It's something I've never thought of, but there's like at least one in every one of these movies.
That's true. I mean, there's child actors in the MCU, but not nearly as often, probably.
Yeah, no, this is like every movie. We're getting at least one of the major characters. And obviously we're going to get that with Billy Batson later on, but like we're starting with the villain, which is a case where we don't necessarily have to start with a child actor.
Well, I was going to say it maybe makes sense as more of a DC thing, but very often it's flashbacks, right? Like it's just younger versions of our protagonists.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I think this is the first.
We haven't done a lot of kid sidekicks and stuff like that. But you could argue that DC has more iconic child characters than Marvel does.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not actually the reason. And now we've got our wizard played by the Who guy.
Well, and the first thing that kid says to him is, "Who are you?"
I know, it's so good. I thought of that in the theater. So I love this guy. He's in both good and bad projects. He doesn't discriminate. He just shows up for work. I respect that. He's Papa Midnight in... I just can't think of things tonight. My brain will start working here in a minute. But yeah, in Constantine. And he's in a lot of genre stuff. A lot of comic stuff. That
I always still think of him for Blood Diamond.
Oh, and I don't know what that is.
Oh yeah, it's a movie with him and DiCaprio.
Is he good? It's
really good. At least I remember it being really good. I haven't seen it since I was a kid.
But yeah, I thought he was decent casting.
You're a wizard, Harry.
He's another one of those guys
with the last of the wizards.
He's another one of those guys with a really distinct voice.
There's also an orb in this scene. He's typecast as guy where somebody says "who" in a scene with an orb.
And who gets angry really easily.
Yes.
He does that in everything I've ever seen him in. Oh, and wait a minute, am I remembering this right? Doesn't he play the Who guy again in Captain Marvel the same year? And this is Shazam, which is supposed to be Captain Marvel, and somehow they both came out the same year, and he's in both of them? That's so weird! I lost my headphones, it's so weird.
They bring back him and Ronan.
Look out, John Glover. And John Glover's also getting typecast as asshole father.
Well, now he's Clark Griswold. We're in some Christmas Vacation shenanigans.
John Glover has a history of not just playing horrible people in DC projects, both live action and animated. Lots of that with John Glover. But he also has a history of, as an older man, having to wear wigs and things in order to look a lot younger in flashbacks. He does that a lot, too.
Oh, no.
These movies get so over the top with these kinds of scenes, Austin. Like, even this is falling into that trap of we've got to have like massive amounts of slow motion, like right at the start, in order to emphasize a dramatic moment or make something look real exciting.
Yeah, well, I should mention too, this is David F. Sandberg, who I think, not his first movie, but like he then, because he's like a YouTube filmmaker, and then he gets to make a full movie of a YouTube short, and then he goes on to work on the Conjuring stuff with one of the Annabelle movies, through like James Wan. So I imagine that James Wan, having done Aquaman, is why he gets this.
Okay.
But I could be wrong, because like they're also both just directors at WB, so they're also just in-house people.
Yeah, they could have both been Jeff Johns' ideas.
Or even if they bring in Juan's like, hey, this is a director you should be looking at.
Yeah, but you're right. That's the big thing that this and Aquaman both have in common, is that they've got directors that have those horror roots, and you can see bits and pieces of that in what they're making. More in Aquaman than in this, but like just with this opening scene, you can kind of see the horror roots. With Aquaman, there's kind of more of it when you get to like the trench and stuff.
Yeah. No, very true.
I do like how ultra comic booky this movie looks, just like with Aquaman, and it's got kind of that toyetic thing. It's a lot less plastic. It's a lot less Power Rangers.
Yeah. I like Shazam's suit in this movie, and then they kind of ruin it in the second one, from what I remember.
I like the way that their logo comes up. I like when it comes up.
Yeah,
that's nice.
I like that he like hits his staff and it Shazams.
That's cool. That's classic. That's how you do that. That's great. Shazam!
Boo for being in Philadelphia, though.
Well, and I feel like the Who guy is cast just based on that voice and what it's going to sound like when he yells Shazam. Like, that's why he's in this.
Oh, sure.
He's going to sound good when he yells Shazam. Shazam! That's great. And I'm with you on this kid playing Billy Batson. He's just correct.
Yeah, and it's a case where we're aging up the character, but like I'm fine with it. I think that's fine.
And it's not used up too much. It's not Robin and Batman Forever again. You don't have a like 16-year-old that looks 24 as Billy Batson. I mean, he's still playing 12 or 13, I think, right? Like I know Billy Batson's usually like 9 or something.
Yeah. Well, I do think that this kind of proves the hard thing about making a movie franchise of Shazam. Like, I feel like Shazam might work better on TV just because your kid actor, like, ages out really quick.
Yeah.
Unless you're willing to replace them.
Well, it's that Spider-Man problem, but worse.
Mm-hmm.
It's that Spider-Man problem if you want to start it in high school. It's that, but worse.
But at least, like, if you have, like, let's say, I think Tom Holland's, like, 21 when he gets cast? Like, he's got, like, a couple years. Like, I don't think I feel like by Far From Home, he's starting to look like, okay, like, this guy's probably not in high school anymore.
Yeah.
But with a kid, like, kids can age so fast.
Well, and this kid is just past puberty. So, I mean, like, if you did a prepubescent one, it's even harder because your very next movie, there's no way he's not going to look and sound totally different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
But they already really have that problem with Shazam 2, which I'm convinced is because they waited too long to make it. And I'm convinced that's partly why he doesn't have a lot of screen time. Mm-hmm. It is kind of awkward because you're still trying to play with that same dynamic and that same shtick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that is unfortunate.
You know, look how immature this character is. And I don't mean to talk about that too much right now, but what that movie should have done is said, like, he's just already gotten past some of this and he is, you know, decently mature at this point. And maybe they thought that's what they were doing, but I felt like he was kind of giving the same performance.
Maybe Zachary Levi just met this kid and, like, worked out his performance. I mean, it's like, I got it.
And let me go on record to say, despite how obnoxious I thought Zachary Levi was with the reaction to Shazam 2 and the way he was kind of whining on the internet about that, I've always liked him. I was a big Chuck fan. That was his big series. That was kind of where he got his start, where he got famous. And when he got this, I was excited. I thought that was a really cool pick. And I was just curious to see if he could bulk up for it, because he's, like with Chuck, he plays nerds. Like, that's what he plays. And so now he's got to be this bulked up superhero-looking character. But if he can pull it off, and he's big enough, if he can pull it off, he's right for it, because he's that nerdy persona is right for Shazam. Or Captain Marvel. I don't like having to say Shazam, but...
No, Captain Marvel was a different 2019 movie, Cap.
And it's funny to say this is the better of them.
Oh, like 100%. As someone who's not even that keen on this movie, 100%. This is the better Captain Marvel movie of 2019.
One reply, hey, just popping in to say there's a fun Swedish inside joke. The bear, Shazam, and Freddy... Or the beer, I'm sorry. I'm having a hard time looking at small words right now. The Shazam and Freddy drink from the shop is called bars, which is a super common slang word for beer here in Sweden. I didn't know One Reply was from Sweden.
No, that's cool.
We would have never known that if you hadn't said that. See, this is why I do these things live. We always learn so much. This always ends up being like a pop-up video for me where I'm watching the thing and then our viewers come in and they're like, did you know? Like across the bottom of the screen. Mm-hmm. Adam Arch, was there any doubt this is better than Captain Marvel? I just thought it should be said. I mean, we have the time.
Yeah, I mean, Captain Marvel trashing is always okay with me. That movie sucks. Look, this character's name is Glover in the same movie with
John Glover.
John Glover, yeah. I almost said Donald Glover, and then I stopped and was like, no, that's not his name.
Dude, I've made that mistake before. Those are both actors I like a lot, though. I'm a fan of both Glovers, no relation.
And Danny Glover. There's a lot of good Glovers.
Oh, yeah, Danny Glover. Yeah, I'm actually probably more of a Danny Glover fan even than a Donald Glover fan, but I like that guy too. These are all good actors.
Yeah.
That Konnor guy, I hate that he has to be named Shazam. By the way, that's the guy that made our logo, our moving logo for this show. So thanks to him. I hate this has to be named Shazam because he can literally never say his other name without revealing his secret identity.
That is true. That's something I think about like quite often, where it's like it becomes a whole awkward thing.
Well, and what I hate...
What's your name? Shazam. Oh, now you're a boy.
Oh, yeah. See, that can't be the name. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Because then every time you say it, you change.
Well, it would be like if Spider-Man lost his name and then we just called him Thwip from now on. Not to the same degree, but like it is just rough.
I find this guy charming and endearing.
Mm-hmm.
He could have been a lot more obnoxious than he is, and I think actually that guy is part of why I don't care for the family dynamic in Blue Beetle as much as you do, because I think the dad guy in that is trying to be this guy, and it's not as good.
Sure.
I'm basing that on the one time I saw it, though. But that's what I'm remembering from it, anyway.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I've found the family in that like pretty annoying. But I also remember, thinking this movie was pretty good up until it becomes a superhero movie.
And that's when it loses you?
So, yeah, that's when it just kind of becomes nothing.
So you're all right with the dynamic of the supporting cast? Like, it's got decent child actors. Like, I feel like some of these kids should be a lot more annoying than they turn out to be. And
I can't remember the other brother's name. The one that's Captain Marvel Jr.
Yeah.
But he's one of the kids from It, and he's good.
Yep. Yeah, he's kind of the instigator and the kid that's trying to get him on the superhero path and goes to
and I like this actress that plays Mary Marvel too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's another thing with the Shazam name change, and this is just because I'm not super familiar with the Shazam comics.
Me neither.
What are they called?
They're not called anything, which is why 2 is one of the things that makes 2 obnoxious. Is they talk way too much about just never having names, and they do if memory serves, they do the irritating. Everybody's trying to think of names, and they're all lame, and they never actually land on one thing. And they just get too on the nose and bring it too much to the forefront that they're not allowed to use that name, so they don't do anything. And I don't know what exactly you do, because it is really awkward when you have a whole team of superheroes and they don't have names. But you got to find a way to just not bring it up too much, I think. I'm not sure what else you do, because you can't really... unless you come up with some kind of device where they can actually be called Shazam something without changing every time they say it. I don't know what else you do. Like, the name of your character does kind of end up having to be Shazam. What else would you call it? Because you don't want to get stuck in, like, a Ghost Spider place where you have to think of a name for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because, like, you don't want to call her, like, Mary Shazam, and then Shazam Jr., and I'm not even sure what the other Shazam, Captain Marvel.
But I'd still like that better than trying to make up some kind of name to replace Captain Marvel. Because I don't think you can do that.
I feel like
nobody's gonna accept whatever it is you come up with.
Yeah, but I also feel like we probably should, because the whole name thing is awkward. Like, we probably should just find some replacement.
In a way, this is not exactly 1-to-1, but in a way, when Billy Batson becomes Shazam, he turns into this other kid. Because he's way more mature than Billy is, or way more immature than Billy is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
like, I'm buying the peer pressure of it, but this kid is not that kid. He's got he's more thoughtful, and he's got more pathos.
Yeah, and like I've seen people try to defend it to me where it's like, well, at the end of the day, he's still a kid, so once he gets superpowers, he's going to be immature. My issue is just he kind of drops the pathos, like you said. Like, why isn't he trying to find his mom while he's Shazam?
Yeah, you say, what is the motivation?
It's like one thing that Billy Batson wants.
Slipmaker, are there any Chuck references in the movie, by the way? I seriously doubt it, but it seems like a possibility. None I noticed, but I'm rusty. It's been a long time, and I only saw the first couple seasons of that show because I thought it went off the rails pretty early, and I didn't keep watching it. But I really liked it up to a point. You easily could have gotten in like a reference to the Buy More or something. Like it wouldn't have been hard, but I didn't notice anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've never seen that show, so not that I know of.
I don't think you'd like it, and I don't know that it holds up at all, but I really enjoyed it while it was on.
I know a lot of people that really like it. I've just never seen it.
You know, in some ways, it's like a more serious, not sitcom-y and less facepalm-inducing Big Bang Theory, just because it's all about geek culture and stuff. Mm-hmm. And so they do lots of references to, you know, comic stuff, video game stuff, and that sort of thing.
Oh, okay. So I didn't even know what the premise of that show was.
Very, very quickly, I'll lay it out. It's just, he works at a big box Best Buy type retailer, and he ends up with, he ends up becoming a super spy because he gets this technology downloaded in his head where he'll see random things that tip him off to government secrets that like come up in his head, and then he has to go do missions with a super hot babe secret agent that is pretending to work there, and then they're of course lovers, and that's that show, and it's got Jane from Firefly is the
cool.
other secret
Adam
agent.
Baldwin.
Yeah, he's the other secret agent that works there, and he's great in that. Nicholas Bodo, cool. So Big Bang Theory, if the nerds weren't creeps. Well, I would say the ones that are creeps are intended to be creeps. Like, they're self-aware about that. Oh, the Magic 8 Ball is back. Dun, dun, dun.
Oh my god, it's Sinestro.
Oh, it's Principal Quan. Oh, no, that's not Principal Quan. That's some other Quan.
You racist.
It's not being a racist. It's sexist before it's anything, because Principal Quan is an Asian man principal in Smallville. John Kelling, the Killer Magic 8 Ball. No. See, earlier when I said the 8 Ball could have been a motif, I stopped myself for a second. I was like, maybe it is, and I don't even remember. I guess it comes back. This is not a movie that sticks with me super well. I remember my initial reaction, and then I remember my second reaction, which was not as good. But seeing this the first time, it seemed really refreshing to me. Because it seemed even more tonally consistent than Aquaman, and I liked something that was like intentionally for the kids the way that it was, and I thought that this character was, you know, endearing enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I do think this is better so far than a lot of these have been.
Well, it's refreshingly traditional. Like, it's just a superhero movie, and it's been a while.
Well, like I said, I feel like this movie, what it's going for, is like the blend of Raimi Spider-Man and Homecoming. We'll get the Homecoming side totally more once we get to Shazam.
But it's traditional in that Raimi way. You're right, and it's weird to say. It was refreshing to kind of see one of these go back to that formula. Pun intended. Mm-hmm. And I know I'm always complaining about formulaic superhero movies with MCU and stuff, but these had been so counterintuitive, a lot of them, that once you get to this and you can like recognize something in it, you start to feel like a person again.
I forgot that this movie canonizes that the DCEU and Monsters Inc. were in the same universe.
And don't get me wrong, there's some super weird moments, like with Aquaman.
That looked wonky.
But, I'm glad Captain Marvel was allowed to have a member of his main rogues gallery, because that's not always a given. See Justice League.
See Shazam 2.
See Shazam 2, yeah. And again, we'll get this out of the way, but obviously the weird thing about this was not ever having Black Adam in a Shazam movie, but having him be his own thing and have to be an anti-hero / just hero.
Mm-hmm.
And it wouldn't have been that
weird. Go back
weird.
to the Wizard before Billy does.
Say again?
Like I said, I forgot that we go back to the Wizard before Billy does, but I guess that makes sense. Like, I guess he's gonna find Billy Batson because of this villain plot.
Yeah. I totally forgot about this whole thing. So Sivana has been trying to get back to the Wizard and, like, steal the power. Because he wants revenge for being told that he's not good enough to be Shazam, because his heart's not pure or whatever.
Yeah, and Mark Strong's an actor I really like. I remember thinking he was just kind of generic villain in this, but I mean, Mark Strong's always cool.
We will probably decide he's one of the better villains of these, though, because the bar's pretty low, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's not super memorable. I honestly, coming into this, couldn't have even told you who the villain was in this movie. Like, I kind of forgot.
Yeah. Well, for some reason, it always sticks with me that he played the villain in this movie.
Yeah.
And then I sometimes struggle to remember who the villain is, but...
But to be fair, some of that's because I'm not a Shazam guy. So I go back to this and I'm like, oh, that's right, Dr. Sivana. Kind of like the Dr. Poison thing with Wonder Woman. Like, I have to be reminded that's her name. But I at least remember what that looks like because it's got a real memorable face. And this guy's look is not bad or anything. It didn't stick with me.
Yeah, and if I remember
this is actually a complaint. Like, I'm just reporting.
Well, if I remember right, I think Savannah, tomato. I think he's like a mad scientist in the comics.
Constantine!
So I think it is a bit of a reinvention.
Yes, he is a mad scientist in the comics. That's the only thing I remember about that. Nicholas Bodo. I heard Mark Strong's best comic book movie villain is Frank from Kick-Ass. Yeah, he is great in that.
Yep.
And that's...
Yeah, he's really good in that.
The only thing that immediately came to me seeing him here again, I don't know if I've seen him in other stuff. I probably have, but...
he's Sinestro in the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern movie.
Is he really? Well, he kind of disappears in that. I didn't realize that's who that was.
Yeah, but which makes sense. Like, he's painted up. He's got, like, a hairpiece and stuff.
And you've never seen that?
No, but I just knew that he was Sinestro.
Crazy. Captain Kuhn, $5 super chat. The Young Justice TV show changes Mary and Junior's names to Sergeant Marvel and Lieutenant Marvel, respectively. I did not remember that.
That's weird. Okay.
That seems kind of odd and on the nose, where you're like, well, he's Captain Marvel, so we need a hierarchy of Marvels.
Well,
I don't know if I love that, because I want the captain thing to always be completely arbitrary. Like, I want it to not be a real rank ever, where it's like, he's Captain America, he's Captain Planet, he's Captain whatever. Like, what's he a captain of? Captain Invincible. He's not captain of anything. It's self-proclaimed because he's the hero. Captain America's less self-proclaimed. I get that he's a soldier, but he only ever has the one rank, and it's not like he built up to it.
Oh, Tyler Sayers, I forgot about that. He's Carmine Falcone in The Penguin as well.
Oh, that's right, but he dies real quick.
Yeah.
So we have seen him in stuff.
Yeah, and I've seen him like in quite a few things too. Like he's also a big part of the first two Kingsman movies. He's an actor I like quite a bit.
Tony asks, a lot of people wanted Mark Strong as Lex Luthor in the DCEU. He would have been great for that. Especially if you wanted an older Luthor. And I like the idea of an older Luthor with an older Batman. So that that would have been great.
Yeah, I'm cool with an older Luthor and a younger Superman.
Yeah, absolutely. And Lex is almost always at least a little older than Superman.
Yeah, exactly.
I think he's usually kind of got 10 years on him.
Yeah, I think he's quite a bit older in post-Crisis.
Nicholas Bodo, I think you're right about that, says he's in the new Dune show. God, this guy gets a lot of work. He's in everything.
Yeah, he's in a bunch of stuff. I didn't realize he was in the new Dune show. I've heard not great things about that. But...
Boy, this is... See, now that you said Raimi Spider-Man, I can't stop seeing it. Like, a lot of the cinematography is reminding me a lot of that. This is going to sound almost like a backhanded compliment, Austin. This is competently directed.
Yes. Well, I guess you could say, like, it's not as stylish as a Raimi, but, like, it is well directed.
It's not super stylish, but it just... He knows what he's doing. Like, it's storyboarded well. You can follow it. He's getting... Well, you know what he's got on Snyder? Coverage!
Which is funny, because I would think at this point he is the director with the least experience, technically, like, in terms of big budget... I mean, not even just big budget, but just Hollywood filmmaking.
Yeah, and I mean, these are real big movies for it to be a relatively inexperienced director, but like he knows where to place his camera. The editing is solid.
Yeah, because like I said, he starts as a YouTube guy, so I think he's only made 2 movies before this. Like once he bumps up to Hollywood, and it's like 2 lower budgeted horror movies.
Like this
isn't super high budget, but like
no, but these are always still big movies to deal with.
Yeah, like I think this is like a $90 million movie.
This is what he's got on Snyder. Billy Batson comes into this train, and we keep cutting this wide shot where you can see down the aisle. Snyder wouldn't have done that. You just keep getting these close-ups where you could see like barely anything on the walls in the background, and you go, why do we even bother being on a set or building a set? Like, this guy has sets built, and then he shoots on them. The other thing, too, is there's not a great deal, if memory serves, of green screen in this movie. I mean, I'm sure in the third act with, like, you know, city stuff there probably is, but, like, they clearly, like with the big Krypton set in Man of Steel, like, they built this thing with the Wizard, and this set looks good with the giant lightning bolt.
Yeah, I feel like the set is like
but again,
perfectly economical,
get to see it
and that
in a way you did not Krypton, even though they built all of that.
No, I feel like the set's like perfectly economical, where it's not giant, but it's not. It doesn't feel like we're on a tiny set at the same time.
It's got just the scope it needs to, and and he's smart enough to film it in such a way where it looks bigger than it probably is. A lot of down-up shots. Gives you a sense of scale.
Yeah, I'm sure they probably like digitally maybe like raised the ceiling and whatnot, but.
You know, this guy, you might not agree with this, because, again, I don't mean to give this guy too much praise. He's kind of a workman director. But, again, just competent. This looks good. You can follow it. It's a good corporate product. He would maybe not be the worst pick for something like Brave and the Bold.
Maybe? I don't know, he's not like one of the people that comes to mind for me, but like he wouldn't do a bad job, I guess.
That just came to me looking at this. I could kind of see it.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough.
He could have made The Flash.
Oh yeah.
Give him something. Throw him a bone. Did he make the sequel to this?
Yes. Which is unfortunate.
And that movie does kind of suck, but.
And I don't love his horror work before this either, but a lot of that's not that he's a bad director either at the same time.
Okay, great. Hey, look, it's The Rock.
No, we're not there yet.
Was there a reference I missed to Black Adam just now? Is that what he's saying?
Oh, maybe I missed it.
Yeah, I think we missed it.
Oh, I think they do reference Black Adam in this movie, so...
That's what he's talking about.
If I remember correctly, too, I think there's a thing where there are seats for all of them plus Black Adam on this throne room. Like, there's also one extra seat.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember.
Oh, he says the hologram is in Black Adam, so we referenced this in Black Adam, I guess.
There we go. Yeah, and I mean,
there was something.
You got to give Black Adam, at least there's some connective tissue between these because they're supposed to be related, obviously. But it's still just ridiculous to me that, like, he refused to be in a Shazam movie. Mm-hmm. All you had to do was make Black Adam and let him be in that second movie. And even if he's not the main villain, you wanted to do the anti-hero thing, you could do the typical, they fight for a minute and then they team up for the rest of the movie. They could have done that. I'm not saying that's necessarily...
Yeah, and I imagine that's what that Superman fight would have been.
Yeah, probably so. Except that was never going to happen. Yeah, that man was just delusional, okay?
What's also funny because The Rock also has like a no loss clause in his contract, so he would technically have to win in a fight with both of them.
Like it's really nice that, especially for fans of this material, that whole speech is there, the Wisdom of Solomon and all of that stuff. Like they bring in some of the major lore that people that care about this are going to hope is there. It's got reverence for the old serial. If you've ever seen any of that, you can kind of see some of that in this. It's nice that it knows about all of that.
Yeah, for sure. No, don't die, wizard. We'll never get to see your head on Wonder Woman's body.
Well, he's gone because he was only here for the reason Defoe was the last movie we did.
Oh, okay. Exposition, man.
This guy right in the camera is kind of hilarious. I applaud your choices today. You know what else this has that Joss Whedon's Justice League did not have?
Any amount of life in it?
Yeah, well, I was going to say occasional actual comedy. Like, there's definitely stuff that doesn't land, but there are moments like that I'm chuckling at. Like actually kind of land. Aquaman, of course, was also more than hit and miss about that. So, like, this definitely does comedy better than anything has in this yet, but we're also in a universe that was anti-comedy for 2 movies and then was baffling with its comedy forever after in different ways.
And we're also going to get to where I remember
including
really
the sequel
miss,
to this. We'll see.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Austin. What were you going to say?
No, I just said. I mean, we're also at the point where I remember it getting really hit or miss. But I mean, we'll see.
Well, and some of that's because you're not with this actor. Mm. You're not buying his performance as the same kid that we were seeing. And
yeah,
I'm with
exactly.
you, and that's rough. And that's the thing is, I kind of have 2 minds about it because I like Zachary Levi in this to some degree, but not with what they've established. Kind of to your point earlier. I think you're absolutely spot on about that. But what's weird is there were a lot of reviews when this came out that praised it for accomplishing what we're saying it didn't.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
You've got these 2 actors playing the same role, and Zachary Levi just nails that kid's performance. Because what they're doing is a cool risk, we have almost a full 40 minutes of that kid, and the movie does a good job letting us get to know him and his plight and what he's about, and we sympathize with him, and then he's going to disappear for a stretch.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to buy that we're still looking at the same character, and I don't. At least not entirely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, don't call him a Cape Crusader. He's Batman. This Batman is not a Cape Crusader.
Do you think they should have just mocapped the kid and then let it be his performance? like a CG Shazam?
That'd be hilarious.
That's not the right choice, Austin.
They should have just put the kid's head onto like a bodybuilder.
What could possibly go wrong?
I don't know, Bubsy. Maybe everything.
Okay, so this is one of those places where it's feeling like we're starting to retcon pretty hard, because we are in a much more, at least according to this kid, fully established DC universe than we have been, where he's talking like there's a lot of superheroes around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I guess because it's after Justice League, but no, you're right. Like, we are kind of easing in some of this stuff.
Like, how much time has passed? He just said 6 out of 10 superpowers. We haven't even met 10 people with superpowers in this universe. So there's a lot more that have popped up, apparently, already, out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm. Marvel Comics exist. It's like the reverse with Marvel, where DC Comics exist.
No, and that would be fine if that's what it was, but he was talking about real-life superheroes. Like, he was reading an article where he said 6 out of 10 people with powers.
Yeah.
It does feel like he's kind of simultaneously, and this isn't a problem, but it does feel like he's kind of simultaneously doing the fictional superhero and the real-life superhero thing, where he's like, that kid is probably looking at both. Because he seems like a fan of superhero characters. I don't know that that's just because he lives in a world of them. I don't know that he's like full-on Miss Marvel about that. Like, he probably reads fictional characters that are superheroes.
I mean, I think it helps that, like, he's a kid, and especially he's also like a disabled kid in the DC universe. Like,
yeah,
I think it makes sense that he would look up to, people like Superman, and Batman's maybe weird, but I think specifically because it's this Batman.
Yeah. He's got a batarang that's the shape of the branding we saw that we introduced that Batman with. But yeah, I had forgotten about the fact that they made him a disabled kid. That is a good detail.
Yeah,
like, they do a good job of giving both of those kids like difficulties to overcome and clear motivations. And they're not like pathetic misfits. They're not being too victim-y, which I really appreciate. Where it's like they're foster kids, and it's like that whole thing is sad, but we're not supposed to be woe is me about it. Like, they're endearing. They try to overcome these things. And we're in a world now where they easily could have just made them super entitled and perfect, and we're supposed to care about them because, woe is them, but look, they're good at everything. And you're right, like, Billy is wise beyond his years, but he's not genius or anything. He's just been through enough that he's got a sense of responsibility. And
they make him kind of like the street rat thing, like Aladdin.
Right?
He's getting by.
Right, and that works. Does she applaud his choices of fashion?
No.
Tyler, Freddie is
she's a fan of Raven.
Tyler says Freddie is disabled in the comics. Not sure if that was said, and I didn't even know that.
Yeah, and I wondered that when you said it, but I'm like, I
Well, I
don't
can
know
still
enough
applaud
about
them for
Captain Marvel
keeping it
Jr.
that way. That's not always a given.
Yeah, literally the only thing I know about Captain Marvel Jr. is that Elvis was a giant fan of him.
And again, the idea that he's looking up to superheroes because he's disabled could be theirs. I don't know if that's in the comics or not.
No, I think that's, like I said, I think that's a neat idea.
You can also praise these things for taking what works and actually running with them, because they very often don't bother to do that. And they'll take, especially DCEU, but like a lot of superhero movies,
especially in this world, yeah,
will intentionally, for no good reason, go totally against the grain just to be different from the source material, or because the source material is not cool enough or whatever.
I mean, we did that with Wonder Woman, with killing off like all the gods and stuff. Like,
yeah, just missed giant opportunities. Well, and then the awkward thing with things like Wonder Woman is in Justice League is you're also primarily looking at material that also had that attitude with New 52 of just like change for the sake of change, and there's some paralleling history between these two things too, with like you've got that studio oversight we keep talking about. Like with New 52, you had editorial mandates that were just kind of like forcing bad ideas on creators. I mean, they're made in similar ways, and then New 52 also scrambles the same way this does. Where right, I never thought to compare them, but like out the gate, New 52 sells like gangbusters because they try to make everybody think they need every #1, and collectors do that and they buy them all, and they start falling off real quick. And you have a number of those series that can't sustain themselves past 12 issues, and they start launching new books to canceling those books, launching new ones in order to fill that New 52 quota, and very quickly the direction of that whole thing was course corrected really hard. The exact same thing happens with this. And then the question is how much of that is because it's making some of the same story mistakes, and how much of it is because of just the oversight and turning tail too quickly. I don't know. These are all questions.
Yeah, well, and they're just the comics of the time that they're looking at while making movies too. Jeff Johns, is now kind of taken over where we're at this point, and obviously he's a big part of the New 52.
Yeah, and then he's already been kicked off by this movie, but he had to have developed this. Nicholas Bodo, maybe this kid would more believably look up to Pattinson. I mean, at least post that first movie, sure.
He's that kid that the mayor's son that Batman helps out of the wreckage.
Were we supposed to think for a second that the foster dad was the bad guy?
Maybe. He could be.
Because he's talking in kind of a low voice, and we don't know that he's trying to turn on a Christmas tree, and he's like, yeah, I got my Christmas tree! You're supposed to be thinking, like it's an intimidating villain. It's Dr. Shivago, or whatever his name is. What's that guy's name? Savannah. Dr. Savannah.
Dr. was Trivago?
That's his name, and I'm sticking to it. Yep. It's Dr. Shivago and Volvo.
Oh, okay.
These are the
team.
Did you see that cool Day of the Dead painting on the wall?
No.
He's got like skeletons dancing. It's cool.
That's cool.
This is all stuff that also hurts Blue Beetle for me a little bit, because all of the cultural stuff is well integrated and just there and in the background, and it's really in your face in Blue Beetle. Where you got the
I don't remember that with that, but
you got the Mexican guy that has to name his truck Taco.
Oh.
And here it's just like, oh, okay, he's Spanish. He's got like a Day of the Dead thing in the background, and we move on. I like that there's just details, but that movie felt like it was patting itself on the back for diversity or something with that stuff, and that irritates me every time.
Yeah, maybe.
Here he's just the guy. I don't know.
They do have like an Angelina Jolie family.
Wait, what now?
Is that they have like an Angelina Jolie family? They have like kids of like all different ethnicities.
Oh, sorry, that was over my head. I'm like, I don't know what that means.
Oh, I don't know. I was raised by a single mom. I get weird references like that.
I don't know much about the personal lives of most actors. So does she have kids of lots of ethnicities? Is that the joke there?
Yeah, it's just like adopted a lot of kids.
Oh, okay. I did not know that. I needed this joke explained to me.
Mark Strong's dressed up like the Vulture in Homecoming.
Oh, yeah, he is. Which lends even more credence to your Homecoming connection.
When we'll get it especially later on where we do the Ramones montage.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
You know, your like S symbol for your logo is suspiciously close to a swastika.
You know, this is even more typecasting with Glover, because not only is he the horrible asshole father, but he's the horrible asshole father to the villain of the movie. Like, this guy is Lex Luthor.
To the bald villain
The
of the
bald
movie.
villain, yeah. But that's a fun choice for just a singular film, because you might have expected at the start that, sorry, I lost my train of thought.
No, you're okay. No, you've like cut out a little bit on Discord, so I wasn't sure if it cut out or not.
Okay, I'll fix that. Freaking Discord. Oh, but this moment.
Oh, he's dead.
Wait, we all saw that coming. You knew he was going out that window.
Yeah. Well, now we're...
Yeah, he said outlook's not so good. I forgot they paid that off. And I love that. I've always loved that phrase in the Magic 8 Ball. I don't know if I've ever told you this, but when I was in college, I actually wrote a short story about a character with the Magic 8 Ball called Outlook Not So Good. Mm-hmm. And so that whole thing made me very happy. Austin might not even be able to hear what I'm saying right now. Hold on. I will.
Yeah, I missed like most of that, but I got the intent.
Hang on, guys.
Oh, now there's the demons from Doctor Strange 2.
Oh, it did that thing again where it made your head huge. I don't know why it keeps doing that.
Oh, weird. That's weird.
You're having a big head day. Just having a big head
day. It's one of those days.
Kids.
You also know this is throwing back because there's an evil boardroom scene.
Right. But no, I was just going to say you might have expected Glover to play like Billy's father.
Yeah. Possibly.
Like just with that opening.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I see what you're saying. Like if you think like that could be Billy at the beginning.
Yeah. I just love how over the top John Glover always is and stuff like this.
I'm being killed. Help!
Like he's acting
how many did I kill?
He's acting like he's back on a Schumacher set.
He's the Floronic Man again.
Yeah. He's like if the Floronic Man was Lionel Luthor. It's wonderful. Running Shivago Industries. He's just got gargoyles following him around.
Mm-hmm. Those classic demons.
What do you think of the effects with these guys?
I was gonna say it's weird that they have the Malbolgia thing where their mouths don't move with their voices. Because that's not like we don't have the money to do that.
That's an intentional choice.
Yeah.
They also look very Ghostbusters.
Yeah, well, I was thinking that earlier when he was talking to the woman on Skype and she was filming her door and there was like the lights coming from underneath it. We were talking about something in the moment, but I was thinking like the Zool thing.
We're back to that with the Suicide Squad thing.
This one looks a little parademon-y, though.
Because we got to the end of that, and Jason was like, "Oh, this villain is just Ghostbusters."
Yeah, no, true. Ghostbusters is one of the big influences on this world.
I'm enjoying this more than I did last time I watched it. Like, I may have just been in not the right mood for it, or it might be a movie that watches better if you're talking over it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because my big thing was I just found it really dull. So I feel like talking over it is probably helping. I'm just enjoying it.
I'm less bored because I have better things to say. Because I have better things to do to watch this movie. Nicholas Bodo, also apparently this is most people's favorite scene because it's way darker and scarier than the rest of the movie.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess in a way that's like the Dr. Octopus scene in Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
It just didn't really jump out to me because it's not like we go that far with it.
No, and I like that.
But if you had that, like I can see where you're coming from. I like that
it's reserved enough about it. You know, like it's just violent enough to have like relatively a little bit of an edge. Mm-hmm. But it's that 90s edge. It's like The Mask or something.
Mm-hmm. Oh, fair enough.
And I think on a first viewing, that was resonating with me. It was probably a little nostalgic. Kando Tour, I don't know, it's super jarring. That boardroom scene. Yeah, but for me in the theater, at least, it was jarring in a fun way, where I was like, wow, this got weird. And I kind of liked that.
Yeah, I guess it just didn't even really jump out at me as, like, that much darker.
Well, and it's consistent in that it does open with that really weird car crash scene. Like, just the way that shot is weird, and John Glover is awful, like, like, not the acting, but, like, he's an awful person. And then we get to the boardroom, and we're back to the weirdness of that opening scene. So, like, it does establish that tone, and then it kind of gets away from it for a minute. He's back! Are you gonna read it?
Tobin Bell Pones, $1.99. This movie doesn't suck. That's how I'm feeling so far.
Thanks for weighing in. I like how definitive he is, where he's always very matter-of-fact about it. I am wondering if he comes in for Birds of Prey, what the Super Chat will say.
Because that one I would say is more divisive. Yeah.
Which way he'd go with that. Now, that is not me saying you have to come in and leave a super chat for that show, and I don't think he's done it for every show. But if he comes in, I'm just very curious to see what that will look like. Kanotor Tobin has spoken. Yeah, he's so confident.
I'm having a good time.
So before we cut to what he's actually doing, and he's yelling algebra and science, and we're seeing the lightning flashes inside, it's like he's chosen new words to say besides Shazam. I was confused with the algebra. I'm like, how does that make you change? I'm sorry, what?
This is where we're starting to get some homecoming stuff.
Well, and this is that. Yeah, you're right. Like it's a montage in that way, but it's also kind of like the Raimi montage too, or not montage, but we're like he's
beginning of that movie too, where they're filming it.
Right. Yeah, that's a good call. But I guess it's also just filling in for that formula where it's your super origin story, and he's got to figure out his powers. So like you could also say this is like the. Oh, it's funny because I was going to say the Shazam scene where he's like Shazam. And now we're in Shazam.
Well, I feel like that's
full circle, folks.
I feel like that's where we're taking that part out of the Raimi movie and then inserting the Homecoming way of doing it instead.
Yeah, you're totally right. And then we did it in Amazing Spider-Man also, but just in more of kind of a like dour emo kind of way. Do you know what I'm talking about? With that montage where he's like on the skateboard and
it turns into a music video.
And they've got
at the very least.
Yeah, but that's a Coldplay song I love.
Movie.
So like that did get me into that Coldplay album. That's
fair enough. That is not a scene though in that movie. That just turns into a music video. This is at least a sequence in this movie.
Yeah, and I mean it's mostly just for comedy, but there's a point to it as much as there ever is with this. This was in the trailer where he's charging phones.
Yeah.
He's finding practical usages for his powers, Austin.
But like at the same time, this is also where I'm like, where's like the Billy Batson that was like a bit more mature, that was looking for his mom? Like all this is just kind of gone.
Yeah. Well, he's just very distracted. I mean, I guess the argument you could make, and this is a cop out, and I don't even. This isn't even the argument I would make, but I'm gonna go devil's advocate for a minute, Austin, and say, if you're suddenly transformed into a like muscular superhero with all of these powers, it's like this wish fulfillment thing where like the whole world has changed for you and you can kind of live in La La Land for a little bit. And maybe that works better if at some point he has this like realization that has to shock him out of it, where it's like, oh yeah, I gotta come back down to earth now. And I don't think we really have that moment. But all of this works better if at some point somebody or something kind of beats him over the head with, you've got a mission, son. And he's like, oh, yes, I guess I better get back to reality. But, like, there's a way to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I feel like I would maybe be more okay with it if I'm buying, like, the two of them being the same person more.
Yeah, because it doesn't feel like he needs to be snapped out of this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it should be if you're going to do that. Yeah, I said devil's advocate. That actually is your excuse for all that comedy. You could completely get away with it if you did that. But then at some point, you have to stop doing that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get to keep doing it in a sequel. And that's not to say that there wouldn't still be potential situations for funny things to happen with the powers. That kid has a Batman backpack.
Oh, he does.
So that means that we just live in a world where Batman's either a totally different thing now, or where people should be greatly disturbed by the fad that is happening around this vigilante that brands people. I know he's not doing that anymore, but...
When Freddy's shirt is also weird, given the movies we've had so far, because it says Lifeguard and it has the Aquaman logo.
Yeah, what kind of sense does that make?
But no, the Batman one's funnier because it's very specifically like the traditional Batman logo, which is not the Affleck one.
Yeah, that's true.
So I guess at some point he had that.
This director was like, somebody run up to the Walmart up the street and get me a shirt. They probably got a Batman shirt up there. So I forgot that they do that typical thing where people are calling him a different name before he comes up with his name, except he won't ever come up with a name in this. And so he's being referred to as Red Cyclone, which is weird because you're in DC and there is Red Tornado.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. This whole thing that we're starting to set up here too, with like we're friends with Superman, like he can come hang out with us, also reminds me a bit of Homecoming.
Oh, of course, yeah. Where Flash Thompson is trying to get him to prove that he knows Spider-Man.
Yeah. which of course is just like a Spider-Man thing. But
Okay, Great says, and we get Cyclone in Black Adam. So you've taken those two characters and smashed them together. It's hard to come up with generic superhero names that don't remind you of something else. But yeah, I remember it being a really good payoff in the third act when all these kids end up getting superpowers, because I wasn't really expecting it. And, like, I did know, of course, about the Captain Marvel kids, but seeing all these kids, it didn't even occur to me they're all going to get powers at the end. And maybe that should come across like you're trying to do too much in one movie, like with Aquaman, where it's like we're already doing the family of Shazams, but it kind of works from the simple story, where it doesn't feel crammed in, and we get to sufficiently live with these characters enough, I think.
It's not the MCU like next time baby moment at the end.
I think that's what was cool about it, is that they went ahead and just full on did it. And I think the reason it feels like we're doing too much in Aquaman is because, you know, there's like multiple villains, like Andy do the trench, and like if you know the Jeff Johns run, it's like we crammed 12 issues into a movie. Or more.
Like 24 issues.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, sick burn. Well, at least he's got the S from this universe.
Oh yeah, I didn't even notice he was wearing a Superman shirt.
I actually used to own that exact shirt.
Oh, cool.
Because I bought that before Man of Steel came out. And I think I, like, wore it to the theater. Yeah, you're right. Like, you see Billy Batson for just a second in that previous scene, and already he's just giving such a different, more understated performance.
He has a different affect about him.
Yeah, and if the idea was what I was suggesting, he should be acting more like this now when he's not being Shazam, where he's like, you know, full of himself, and you know, it should be like a Bruce Almighty kind of thing.
I was thinking too, like you could also get me to buy that, like some of that just comes from being around Freddy, where Freddy's like the superhero nerd kid.
I was gonna say that too. Yeah, he's rubbing off on him too much, and he's starting to think, like maybe it's a catharsis, where
just like the two of them becoming friends, like they're bringing that out in each other.
Well, but also like a defense mechanism where it's like I can kind of escape from my real life into this, and then again at some point you gotta smash him over the head with, you're trying to find your mom.
Yeah, exactly. No, this is the soft reboot of the Shaq Genie movie. He already transferred his powers to the next Genie, and he died earlier in the...
That's another double feature I don't want to do.
Just Kazam?
Yeah.
This?
Yeah, Shazam and Kazam.
We should do Shazam v Kazam. That would be great.
What did you call this? Shazam or something? What was
Shazam.
Shazam and Chasm?
There we go.
Chasm! But with a K, not a CH.
Shazam and Chasm, Dawn of Spasm.
Hey, let's read some comments, Austin. We haven't done that yet.
Yes. Sounds good.
I keep waiting until we're like an hour in. My whole doing the gong when we get to scenes people like is not exactly worked out.
You tried. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to?
Yeah, I can go first. Chewbacca's Lover, Shazam is a movie I really enjoyed in the theater, but I'm afraid to go back to it. And that's all he says about this, because he has something else about Birds of Prey. And then I'll just go ahead and read the next one, since that was short. Slipmaker, favorite scene, spooky demon boardroom scene, gave me happy... Well, where I did that, so... Gong. Spooky Demon Board scene gave me happy flashbacks to that part in Spider-Man 2 where the movie becomes Evil Dead for 2 minutes. He said the same thing you did. What I would change the filmmakers...
Is it weird we went to the Rocky stairs? Sorry, I'll let you finish that. Is it weird that...
Well, we're in Philadelphia. So I guess...
No, I know.
I
guess, yeah. But I also don't like that we went to Philadelphia instead of like a fake DC city.
No, I'm with you.
I can't remember what Shazam's one is.
What's coming to me right now is Fawcett City. I don't know if I'm right about that.
Yes, it's Fawcett City. Thank you.
I don't know why I know that. I'm not a Shazam guy. For a second, I was like, is that a Green Lantern City or is that the Shazam City?
No, the second you said it, I was like, yes, that is it.
But I have the same thing. We need to be doing fake cities. You're in DC, and that's another thing that makes this feel intentionally more MCU, because MCU does real places.
Yeah, and that was something Gunnar said in an interview recently, is that they've had to give studio notes to scripts so far that are like, hey, New York is not a city in the DC universe. Seattle is not a city in the DC universe.
I'm so relieved
this is the equivalent.
That. Yeah, that's great. Now, to be fair to some of those script writers,
sometimes they are.
Some of those real cities we've done more recently, but that always strikes me as DC trying to be Marvel. Where we took Green Arrow to Seattle for a while, and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but I don't ever like it when we do that. And you know how I feel about New York is in the same world as Metropolis and Gotham. Just how large is the United States? You're cramming some really large cities in with all the other really large cities.
Oh my god, they're in the Lost World.
Anyway, Slipmaker, what I would change... They're in the Lost World if it was at Christmas. The filmmakers fell for the classic literary blunder. Shazam is the name of the wizard who made him. That is Shazam's monster. Yeah, but that's not the movie's fault, because what else would you do at this point? They're not allowed to use it.
I also think... I mean, he was joking, but I also think it's fair to call the monster Frankenstein.
Oh, do you?
He was great. Yeah, he was created by Dr. Frankenstein. In a way, he is his son.
Yeah, that's fair. But it's
I think that's fair.
But it's also true that a lot of people made that mistake, not realizing that there is a Dr. Frankenstein.
Absolutely.
And that is the problem with that.
Absolutely.
But I think what you're saying makes a lot of sense, where it's well, maybe he should have given him a name then.
No, I feel like he's Frankenstein's monster thing became that actually he's not Frankenstein, the doctor is. And it's okay, but there is a reason that you could call the monster Frankenstein. But that's a whole other thing. We don't have to get into that.
Jason wrote a whole song about it.
Oh, cool.
He wrote a 5-verse folk song about that. And it's hilarious. Slipmaker, what surprised me, I watched Shazam and Endgame back-to-back during a long flight, both for the first time. Oh, crazy. And while I could appreciate the fan service moments in Endgame, I like Shazam more. Sorry if that's heretical. I don't think that's the word he's looking for. And I'm sure Endgame lands better watching in a theater with a big crowd.
Yeah, I mean, I also think it's fair to be into this more than that.
No, that's fair.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. This is a more personal movie.
Yeah, I mean, you are really comparing apples to oranges at that point. Oh, sorry, you've blanked out on my side here. It's not your fault. I'll fix it.
Oh, no.
Sometimes when I put certain screens in certain places, that's been happening. I'm not sure why. But anyway, why don't you read one?
Yes. Okay, here we go. Cereal when pigs fly. My favorite part of Shazam was when Shazam throws Batman at him and yells, "Get him, Batman!" It makes him seem like a kid. I don't think we've had that yet. I'm not sure
real quick,
what he means by that. I don't remember that.
Sorry, can I talk about this for a second? I forgot about this moment where his friend does dress him down for being too big for his britches and acting like a bully. So we get a little bit of what I'm talking about, but he's not set straight in exactly the way I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. And his attitude is still too different from the kid, because when he turns back into the kid should still be cocky. If that's the whole idea, is that he's cocky now because he's like, look, I've got godlike powers, I'm better than everybody now.
Well, it's more so because when he comes out here, he's like trying to get people to pay him to do things. And Freddy's like, no, you don't do that. Like, you become like an a-hole. So it's not like entirely dealing with like me not feeling like they're the same person.
Yeah.
But he is more self-serving here.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's self-serving, but it's not so much his eyes not on the ball now thing that I think it ought to be. Where it should be more about like he's too distracted by this and he's escaping into it. I'm really latching onto this now, and I know that's really rewriting the movie, but like I'm thinking more and more with the motivations and background that he's got, that should be what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we kind of do the Raimi Spider-Man, or well, just Spider-Man thing in general here. He wants to make some money off of his powers. Here, I will
start singing "I Believe I Can Fly," though.
Yeah, that'll work. He says, "I would change the tone of the movie." Mm-hmm. The thing that surprises him, the thing that surprises him the most is he says the one scene where he throws the guy out the window, it was straight savage. So I guess that's the boardroom scene that we were talking about earlier.
Okay.
And then he says, question, has this movie aged well? Personally, I liked it the first time I saw this, but on subsequent rewatches, I've changed to think this is one of the worst in the series.
So,
well, it seems like we're both not having that so far.
I'm not having that. Like I said, last time I watched it, I was disappointed based on my previous viewing. But I never thought it was one of the worst movies in the DCEU. That's also how low the bar is.
Yeah, I still feel like it's kind of generic. But like, I think especially now that we've been watching them so close in succession, like this is probably the one I've enjoyed the most so far.
It's interesting how that happens, right? Like, just everything's relative. Mm-hmm. It's like we're watching this coming off of Justice League and Aquaman, and it's really refreshing immediately after that. Mm-hmm. It's also important to note that they're not pushing out a bunch every year right now. Like, they're really struggling to get out one a year at the moment.
Yeah, they had one last year, one this year.
And then Birds of Prey will be the following year. Am I right about that? That's 19, I think.
Yep. This is 19, that's 2020.
Is that true? No.
Yeah, Birds of Prey comes out like right when lockdown happens, because it comes out...
So wait, hold on. So are you saying they skipped a year?
No, because Aquaman is 2018.
Is it?
Yeah, it's Christmas 2018.
No, you're right. Okay, I'm with you now. I'm caught up.
These probably seem closer than they actually are, just because it's like March of 2019 and Christmas of 2018.
No,
it's only a few months apart.
I thought Aquaman was 17 for a minute. I thought it came out the same year Justice League did.
Look at all this DC merch for a man that brands people. You certainly branded all this merch.
Yeah,
there was Mira toys.
Yeah, no, it doesn't make any sense. That gets a lot worse in Black Adam, but I forgot that starts here. That it's already a problem.
When there was some of it in Suicide Squad, somebody brought it up as well. There's a part where Amanda Waller walks by some Superman merch. But we're definitely going farther.
No, but that's okay because he just died and it's just logos. Like, you would have that?
Yeah, no,
but with this, you're talking about, like, toys and products and things that look like comic book stuff. And then you get to Black Adam and you got that kid with the bedroom and it's absurd. He's got comic covers. of like New 52 stuff, if memory serves.
Oh, okay, and I don't remember that, but I never like when we do that.
Watch for it because it's hilarious. Like, it goes to the... I've always complained about it. It's worse than in anything I've ever seen. But anyway, you have that big reference, with the piano on the floor, and everybody, when this came out, was comparing it to that, but of course that was all completely intentional. It was like, that was kind of their elevator pitch, I think. Is like, our Shazam is going to be big with superpowers.
Yeah, in the same way that, with Homecoming, we're doing a John Williams.
Yeah, my favorite director.
John Hughes. John Hughes Spider-Man. And I feel like both don't really have a ton of that energy, but like they reference them.
You really have to give it to the casting director with this movie. Like, this has a strong cast. The sidekick kid is really good.
Yes. Yeah, he's the one that was in it.
He just delivered some kind of difficult dialogue. Like, real smooth.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and from this to it, like, they are very different performances where he's the hypochondriac kid in there.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, he's also got quite a bit of range.
But stereotyped as kid with some sort of disorder or physical ailment?
Some sort of thing.
Yeah.
But Okay, Great says that Diedrich Bader was the voice of the Batman toy that
of course
Billy
he was.
Throws at him.
Of course he was. So, Austin, thanks for that fun tidbit. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Ever since you said this is a better TV premise, I keep thinking about this cast and going, again, especially the father figure guy. Like, this would have been a really strong week-to-week TV cast.
Yeah, sure.
Like that foster dad, I could really see him on in an episodic show.
Yeah, I could see that.
Like a primetime drama, or obviously these days you do it as a throwaway streaming show that nobody watched, but
yeah, I wonder, because I know Gunn is a big fan of Captain Marvel and Shazam stuff, so like I could see them doing it as a show now, just because I feel like that's kind of the way to give it longevity.
You're so right about that. And it, like, a lot of superhero things are easy TV pitches because you're in a status quo where it's easy to come up with like episodic concepts and have a TV formula. And of course, these days we tend to go more serialized. But it's really easy to stretch these kinds of things where it's like each episode he's gonna say Shazam and turn into the adult Shazam or Captain Marvel and go fight a villain, and you've got the clear kind of drama with the everyday human stuff.
Yeah, otherwise you have to like Harry Potter it, where you're doing one every year.
And he has so much in common with Spider-Man that is easily DC's Spider-Man. Like, as a TV show or as a film series.
Sure, yeah.
I didn't even think about that, but like, who else has a better built-in like high school drama than Captain Marvel?
Well, and his powers are probably easier to bring.
But yeah,
his powers are probably easier to bring to life on TV than Spider-Man as well.
Oh yeah, of course, because we've done plenty of flying on TV, whether it looks good or not. People are always really concerned about the web slinging and if you can even pull that off on a TV budget. But we've done flying going all the way back to the 50s. Like, we're not as concerned about that having to look realistic, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and we've done, lightning effects on TV. Like, it's not like that stuff's too crazy.
Well, and we did tons of that in the Flash TV show, because that has the same thing that the Flash movie does, where whenever he does it, there's like lightning all around him. And they do a lot of bullet time with it. With lightning just all over the place.
Yeah, and like, if you did it now, I imagine it would be like an HBO Max show, so it would also have more money thrown at it too.
Well, sure, absolutely. And then the nice thing is, your transition from the kid to the adult is a really easy effect.
Yeah.
Nicholas Bodo did the Batman toy ask, "Do you bleed?" They should have made those. They should have made "Do you bleed?"
That would have been
dolls.
funny if he picked up a toy, it said "Do you bleed?" He threw it, and just in the background you could hear "You will."
That's always the next thing in the rotation. Do you bleed? You will. If there's a 1% chance.
Well, now this just reminds me of that Red Letter. They have the Aquaman toy, and they press the button to make it talk, and it's like, "I'm Batman." It's got the wrong voice chip in it.
That's so good. I want the Batman toy from Justice League where you press it and it says, "I don't not."
I was going to say where it has the Aquaman voice chip, where you press the Batman toy and it's like, "My man!"
My man!
Woo!
Or you get the Cyborg one and you press it and he goes, "My toes hurt!"
And then the next one is F the world.
I really want a Cyborg doll that just goes, "My toes hurt!"
How that makes sense.
I don't understand the physics of how my toes hurt.
Booyah.
Nicholas Bodo, you're not a god. Yeah, we can easily make the Justice League. Oh, and then you get the Steppenwolf doll that goes, "For dark side."
I am evil.
Okay, great. The toy comes with a detachable sink.
It has sink smashing action where you hit Superman over the head with it.
Oh, we're talking over a kind of gut-wrenching scene here, by the way.
That is true, and I remember the scene being really good.
I feel like I didn't quite buy what she does here in the flashback, but it's been too long since we're like, she loses him, and then I guess she just gives up and decides that she's not going to go after him, and it'd be better if he wasn't with her. Yeah, that's a weird line.
That is a weird line. I thought she just abandoned him. That's kind of weird.
Yeah. So this scene in the hallway is really good. What exactly happens in the flashback is oddly contrived. I get what you're doing if like she was overwhelmed and can't help but take the excuse. But then, okay, two things. First, just saying the police could do a better job raising you is a very odd thing to say. Like, that's really strange. Like, the police aren't going to be who raises him. You have to know that. He's going to go in the foster care system. Like, what are you, stupid? I don't know. That's just a really weird thing to say. And then...
What are you, dumb?
That's just weird. I saw you with the police, and I realized that they could do a better job raising... I don't know. And that's just a really weird thing to say.
I like that there's, like, an implication that... Like, I think you can hear, like... a boyfriend or something like yelling in the background, like maybe he's abusive or something.
Mm-hmm.
That's a nice detail.
That was the sense I got. That's also very Raimi Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
But then,
yeah, and I thought it was more so she's just kind of a bad person, and that's kind of what he gets to. And I guess kind of is, but it's weird that they like try to fit in like a sympathetic thing to it.
Well, because the other part of what I'm saying is there's this implication that if she just decides not to go after him, she would have to explain that to multiple people. Like, wait a minute, didn't you have a kid? Yeah, I just lost him. I don't know. Like they're not thinking that through. I don't think you could.
He went out for a pack of cigarettes.
How do you just abandon your kid like that legally? Like, how could that even happen? Wouldn't people be? Does she know no one?
I mean, I feel like stuff like that happens. Like, I feel like it would be better if she just straight up abandoned him, and it wasn't she lost him. And
well, that's what I'm saying is
that was better.
If she loses him like that, I think it just gets really suspicious to people.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe it's tantamount to the same thing. I don't know. I haven't thought about this in a long time because I forgot about that scene.
Yeah, I feel like I would just change that one line. Like, that line makes it awkward.
Yeah.
Well, and showing her seeing him with the police, but...
I guess I'm just thinking... Are we buying that it's long enough ago that they couldn't figure out who his mother is and go find her? I guess that's what I'm not sure about.
When he's like 5 too, like, I guess the implication is also he would have no way of being able to tell them like who his mom is or anything like that.
Yeah.
But also at the same,
if you're 5, you'd have enough information that the police.
He also knows that his name is Billy Batson and that his mom is something Batson. So like
I'm thinking, yeah. No, if he tells them the last name, Austin, they could find her.
They will find her.
That's pretty contrived. Yeah, well, Zod could do a better job raising that kid than she could, clearly. He'll terraform a planet for him.
Exactly. That's the mark of a good dad.
Super Billy, sorry I'm late, guys.
Like the Shire. Every door they go to is way too small.
He says, I had trouble with getting everything I needed for dinner. That's okay, Super Billy. You don't have to apologize for being late to our Shazam stream.
Hopefully you got something cool for dinner.
You know what? This villain is fine.
Yeah, he's fine. He's just kind of generic, but like...
He's not generic overly generic, though. He's not like Superman 3 generic. Like, he's fine.
He's not...
He's a supervillain. He's got a costume. He's and I like the way in which he's just bad guy Shazam, because like, he isn't, but he wants Shazam's powers. Like, he wishes he was Shazam, and he has Captain Marvel, whatever, and he's jealous as opposed to just your normal revenge thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that with this villain, because there's this kind of motif of your bad guy is more childish than you are.
Mm-hmm. Well, I feel like he's generic in like a Caecilius or Ronin way, as opposed to a Steppenwolf, Ares, Enchantress. Like, he's not like awful. He's just kind of okay.
But I am going to say, looking back at this, I think he's even a step above maybe the villains you just mentioned.
Maybe? I feel like I would have to watch it just again on its own.
Oh my god, Batman's here. Oh no, it's Freddy.
His name is He Doesn't Have One.
Yeah. Yeah, can we quit doing that? Also, I don't buy that throw got him in the head that good. I don't buy
that far away and cut him? I mean, I guess they are blades.
Yeah, but the way
Batman is a psycho.
The way it dropped on the floor didn't look like it ricocheted off anything. Like, it didn't look like it had any power behind it. Yes, I'm complaining about this.
Shazam just stabbed him with it.
Let's read some more comments.
Yes.
Shall
do you want me
we?
to do another one? Or?
I'll go ahead and do the next one, I guess. Daniel Davis, favorite scene. I actually still enjoy the climax. At least I'm a fan of a movie where characters decide to tag team the bad guys after gaining powers. I also like the scene between Billy and his mom. Are there a ton of those? That seems oddly specific.
Where heroes tag team a villain?
Movies where characters decide to tag team the bad guys after gaining powers.
Oh, after gaining powers. That makes it less...
Seems oddly specific.
That makes it a little bit, like, oddly specific. But, like, I feel like there's a couple where a team will just, go to town on just one villain.
Like Batman versus Superman. What I'd change, at this point, I'd just recast Zachary Levi altogether. Not only on this rewatch did he seem more off-pace, but also, he's an idiot. What surprised me the most, just how relatively frightening some of the scenes with Savannah were for a PG-13 film aimed at families. I definitely had that in the theater. I'm feeling less that way looking back at it, but maybe that's just, I've seen it.
Oh, those crocodile men. It's Lyle.
Yes! Now we just need some Clifford dogs. I guess you gotta have some dogs.
Yeah.
Some dog-looking things.
That should have been the next door is Clifford.
I feel like there's a real Harry Potter kind of feel to this.
This reminds me a lot of... Yeah, there is a lot of Harry Potter here. But like specifically with the door thing, it's very Monsters, Inc.
Oh, sure. And Matrix Reloaded.
Oh. I didn't know there was a thing in that.
Oh yeah, they do a backdoor thing with the Matrix where there are certain doors, kind of like with the telephones that take you back to the real world. There are doors that can take you all over the planet.
Okay.
And different ones lead to different places. Yeah, it's fun. It's not a good movie, but it's got a lot of fun stuff in it.
Yeah. So Lord GB, his favorite scene for Shazam is when it's over. The thing he would change is he says, "I would want to Batgirl that film, put it out of its misery." And the thing that surprises him is how much it sucks. And then he asks, "Why do people like Shazam? It was so bad. Oh my god."
Well, I feel like we've done a pretty good job articulating what's working about this. Gabe,
and also my gripes. Like, I don't think this
Sure.
movie's amazing or anything.
No, I don't either. But Gabe's a big Snyder fan and clearly didn't like the direction it went after him. And this is very indicative of that, where it becomes much more stereotypically family-friendly superhero films. So if you liked the kind of grimdark direction that was going, then it's understandable that you're not into this.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, and I really didn't like this movie the first time, but I'm kind of out of this is okay.
I'm not understanding the flat out this is the worst thing ever kind of response with that.
No, and I never had that. I was always this is like top 3 DCEU. It's just not great.
Yeah, because DCEU is just overall not very good.
And I still think this is kind of not great, but like more on the positive side, I guess now. Like, it's fine.
That's what I'm having with it too. Maybe you have to watch it with people.
I think that might be what it is, because it's like I still don't really like Zachary Levi, but we're also talking over, so I'm not like stuck with it.
I don't think I would. Like I watched this on my own last time I saw it. I don't think I would ever do that again. Like that. Seems
yeah,
like
I don't know if I would ever revisit it either.
Well, someday we'll have to do the rewind commentary, and then we'll get real analytical about the mom flashback, and we'll just make that the entire thing.
Exactly. No, we'll get very analytical about how well it connects to Black Adam.
A lot of real typical superhero movie tropes with this, right? We've got another one set at Christmas. We haven't really talked about that. And we are in a carnival. And
See, I was
there are
thinking
a few of these that do that too, like Rise of the Silver Surfer. And I'm sure there's other
well,
ones.
Aquaman had like a big underwater Ferris wheel thing, but I was actually thinking it's kind of unique that it's set at Christmas, and that there's only really like two other ones I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah, Batman Returns does it. Iron Man 3 does it. Are there any others?
And they're all very different Christmas superhero movies too, which I think helps. Some people count No Way Home as a Christmas movie. I don't. There's like Christmas lights at the end.
Yeah.
And it's vaguely set around December.
Yeah, I guess it's not fair for me to say that it's a trope. It's just a thing that I've seen enough that I'm like, oh, here's another one. But you're right. That's a little disingenuous, I guess. And I'm not even complaining. Like that can be a fun aesthetic, and I guess the only reason we do it here is because it's a movie about children, and like you just associate that like Christmas time with children, and because Big was about toys.
Yeah.
And so that, like, setting it at Christmas, because I can't remember if Big was also around Christmas time. I just haven't seen that in a long time. I don't think it was, though. But that makes it really easy to have a scene like that mall scene. And so that got us there.
No, and I feel like this is the only one of them that's, like, really kind of Christmassy and, like, being with the family and whatnot.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
Obviously, Iron Man 3 is very, like, Shane Black, like, action Christmassy.
Yeah.
So we take advantage of that. And then Batman Returns uses it to do, like, the Tim Burton aesthetic.
Yep. And to have a juxtaposition
so, like,
with all the white in the snow and the Christmas
lights.
Yeah,
exactly. So, like, they're doing very different things, which I think is very interesting.
And all three of them do something with the subtle, or with the story. It's not just the aesthetic, like it's connected enough to Christmas.
Yeah,
because it's funny.
Which is why I didn't include No Way Home.
It's funny. This movie doesn't really feel like a Christmas movie to me, but when I'm reminded that that's the period of time we're set in, like it all does kind of fall into place.
Yeah, and I'd forgotten that aspect about it. Some of that looked a little wonky.
Well, and these monsters look like Goosebumps monsters to me. Like, they're not great.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not that cool. This guy kind of looks like Atrocitus, but not red.
Okay, great. The Christmas setting gives this movie a cozy feeling. Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at. Big takes place over a year, I think. He's big for a long time. Yeah, I thought it was over more time than this was, but I couldn't remember if Christmas was in it at all. It's over a year like Harry Potter, because Harry Potter also has Christmas in it.
This movie is officially one of the best superhero films because it has a bald man drowning a child.
We all know how much Austin loves that sort of thing. And now we have Smallville level bullet time. I actually for a second thought I was in a Smallville episode just watching this bullet fly through the air.
Oh my god. She's gonna shoot his eye out.
You think that was intentional?
Oh, that was 100% intentional. She picked up a BB gun and shot him straight at the eye. It was definitely intentional. It's set at Christmas.
That was cute, right? Where it was like right in front of his bad eye, and then he like catches it right in front of his eye.
Yeah. Well, it's also neat in that they don't really spell it out, but like if you get it, you get it. Like it's not like Shazam looked up and went, "Haha, you got his." Something.
Yeah, there's definitely stuff in this that is supposed to be funny that's not especially funny to me, but not a lot of things that just make me go, ugh. You know what I mean? Like I'm not cringing super hard or like rolling my eyes that hard at it. Like,
no, the closest is just when he does the Fortnite dance.
Oh, forgot about that. He's got a venom tongue.
3 seconds. He does have a venom tongue.
See, if this was a Disney Plus show, he'd do it for like 10 minutes. Dan's Den, the monsters are okay given that they're supposed to get beat up at the end. What does them getting beat up have to do with how good the effect is, though?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just them being like kind of generic designs. No, I mean they could have been cooler.
I mean, like, it's not the worst thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I will say, like, they look solid. They're not like weird and amorphous, like they're not there. It's hard to even explain what the problem is with them. I don't know. They look like those monsters in Goosebumps. And I don't mean the designs. I mean say, like, the effect. Like,
I'd also say like maybe they should be a bit more colorful. Like this devil-looking guy maybe could have been red. You could add one that was like very green. Like the more there's one that's like kind of wordy.
RJ Godzilla says they almost look practical. Yeah, there are places where I have that. I almost kind of wish they just were.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it is also possible that they built those for set, and there are places where they're shooting like behind them or something, and you're actually looking at something practical, like when they're not moving. I don't know. I kind of doubt it, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know.
This is an infinitely more interesting setting, even though we've been to this kind of place in lots of movies, of course, than like the runway at the end of Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, the what? Sorry, I got distracted by the movie.
Oh, you're okay. Then the runway at the end of Wonder Woman.
Oh yeah.
The lights in the fog are cool.
Family. Yeah, it is cool.
And then you get the reveal of all these adult actors. Like, this was really fun in the theater. I was like, I didn't expect you to do that. And then you cast all these adults for 10 minutes.
Well, and somebody brought this up earlier, but 2 of them were also cast as Superman and Flash in that George Miller Justice League movie.
Is that right? Interesting. Mortal?
Yeah, I think one of them is Freddy's. And it's maybe the green one? I'm not sure.
I didn't know that.
Whoever said that in chat, if you're still around, I'll keep an eye on that.
That's not possible! And I like that Freddy's the one that's already flying.
Yeah.
Like, that's cool. Because he's obsessed with superheroes, and he's got a limp, and now he just gets to be in the air. Like, I don't know.
Well, that, and he's also the one that's been kind of helping and training Shazam.
Yeah. Like, they're thinking a little
with fun attention to detail.
Like, yeah. You gotta give him that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure that actor was a Crypto Freak.
Which one?
The Freddy guy.
One?
No, the
Freddy guy.
The Freddy guy, yeah. I'm pretty sure that somebody tell me if I'm right about that. I think that was the guy in first season who and also had a physical ailment, whose hands get messed up and he gets telekinesis, and he murders people with his telekinesis.
Mm-hmm. It's also funny to me that the like Mary Marvel one is like immediately recast because they just used the same actress in the next one, which is probably a good choice. The sister actress is really good.
I didn't remember that. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think they make
anything about that movie.
I think they make a plot point in that, which is like once you turn 18, you don't become a different person. You just become super.
Something about that head drop was really funny to me. Where it, like, crushed that thing. It crushed. Did you see what it crushed? It crushed a sign that said love.
Oh, I didn't see that.
It's pretty funny.
Dan Sten said that
I was right about
he
that.
was in Smallville. Yeah.
There's something real Superman 2 about this scene to me.
Them flying across the city or the monster fighting? Oh, okay.
Just the aesthetic and the mood of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
That's kind of fun because this is like if Zod was going after Superman to get his powers and didn't have powers, or at least didn't have those powers.
Okay, just fight.
So this is where it becomes too much MCU humor, right? Like, that's a funny gag for a second.
Yeah,
what is that?
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
What all he should have done is like, wait a minute, I can't hear you.
Yeah, then it flies up to him.
Yeah, that's all it had to be.
That's a cute moment with the kid.
Yeah, but why does everybody have Superman figures and stuff?
No, it's even better, Cap, because he had a Batman and Superman figure that he was fighting with. He was doing BVS. He wrote that movie.
Well, you know what? I shouldn't complain about the Superman thing because it does kind of make sense that might get merchandised. Like, he died, everybody loves him now, he's got a statue, like, that probably isn't getting vandalized now. Like, I maybe buy that. The Batman thing is weird.
Mm-hmm. Especially with this version, yeah.
RJ Godzilla, I can see the Superman 2 thing, Cap. Thank you. I was waiting for validation.
It's been so long since I've seen it. I've only seen it once, so it's like vaguely, but it's been too long. I need to rewatch that.
You'd have it more if there was all of a sudden a Coke sign that Savannah got smashed into.
Thrown into? Yeah, exactly.
And then you'd see it.
Or if Shazam threw his symbol at...
oh, yeah, sure. Okay,
Chivago.
Great. Superman toy. If I wanted it, you'd be dead already. Superman toy. The bat is dead. Bury it.
See, Cap, that the Freddy guy is what we were saying with the Flash. You can do that I've never done battle thing and not be annoying.
Yeah. Well, I would even argue I could see the tone of this being more or less what you might want from a Flash movie, depending on the direction you want to take it.
So I know this is a WB thing, but it is weird we set up them playing Mortal Kombat earlier. Now he throws out a Street Fighter joke.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point.
But that's 100% a WB thing. There's so much Mortal Kombat in like WB movies and shows in like the last 10 years.
Just because they own it?
Yeah. I'm not even complaining, it's just weird.
Well, and then, doesn't one of these movies... Maybe it's Black Adam, I can't remember where it is. Doesn't one of these movies have somebody playing Injustice, and then that's really weird? I can't remember where it is. So, somebody tell me if you remember this. I'm pretty sure there's footage of Injustice being played.
Maybe. Yeah, it's been too long.
Or I might...
That's really funny.
You know what? No, it's an episode of Superman and Lois.
Oh, okay.
I think I
did know that now that you say that.
Yeah, because I think it's in that pilot.
That sounds vaguely familiar. And I've seen the pilot, so that would make sense.
Yep. Okay, Great says Zero does that, but I'm pretty sure it's Superman in Lois. They might also do it, but...
I think in Creature Commandos, Clayface is playing Mortal Kombat like online. Which is kind of funny. I don't imagine Clayface as being a big gamer.
Oh, I forgot about the whole Seven Deadly Sins motif with this.
Mm-hmm.
And then do you have, because I wasn't even counting, Do you have 7 Shazam family members to match that? Or is it fewer than that? He's counting.
I think you have 6 in the Wizard.
Okay, they just didn't quite unite the 7.
Whoa, you know who the 7th is? The 7th is the one who changes all the hierarchy.
There you go. Yeah, and that's the one with the missing seat. So they are consistent.
Yeah,
with
I did say that earlier that there's going to be a shot where we see that there is 1 chair extra.
So they're absolutely consistent with that. There's 7 deadly sins and there's 7 Shazam characters to match them. That's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I don't know if that's comic book at all, or if they just thought, oh, hey, wait, there's 7. We can do something with that.
Yeah, I'm not sure, especially because he's like a mad scientist villain.
Nicholas Bodo, no, Savannah's not a crypto freak. There's no kryptonite involved. He's just studying magic.
Well, there's actually, because if you remember Cap, when he was a kid, he had hair, but now he doesn't.
Oh.
It's actually because he came into contact with kryptonite, and that's what, like, perverted his ideals.
So you're thinking he got stuck in a meteor shower, and he was, like, a really good kid, but then he lost his hair, and that ruined his...
Yeah, he was Harry Potter before, but now he's a villain. Now he's Voldemort.
He's every bald villain ever. I mean, Nicholas Bodo, I don't really know what you mean structure-wise. Like, because crypto freaks are just contriving a regular person with powers that easily goes on some kind of a rage quest. And, like...
Does Superman end up taking their power, or Clark, by the end?
I mean, not every time.
Oh, now he did a Mortal Kombat reference. There you go.
Oh, okay, okay. I mean, already he seems less like a crypto freak because he's not a high school kid. I mean, there are some that aren't, but like a lot of them are high school kids. But I mean, he's a little bit like that, I guess, just in his like jealousy and.
He just faked them out by making them think he was going to do the Ghostbusters 2 Ray thing. There's so much Ghostbusters.
I want to know what game that guy played to get his little girl a giant tiger.
It was the same one that Billy's mom abandoned him at. That was the payoff for that.
Is this dad gonna do the same thing? Like
Exactly.
This little girl.
He's like,
and then he's left there holding this stuffed tiger, and he looks over and he's like, "The police can raise you better than I can." And then he just leaves and he takes his tiger with him.
It's even better. He looks up and he sees these superheroes holding this. He's like, "These heroes can raise you better than I could," and then he just leaves.
That's terrible. Like, do you realize Billy Batson's mom is only slightly less horrible than the Penguin's parents in Batman Returns?
They should meet. Well, they're both Christmas movies.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's my thought of it.
What if the abusive dad in the background was Paul Rubens?
But it would seem, yeah, exactly. But it would seem less contrived if she just dropped him off in a basket.
Oh, we didn't have to do this. This was in the theatrical cut of Justice League. Why are we doing it again?
What was?
like the person on the news just saying the F-bomb over and over.
Oh, I forgot about that. Why? Yeah, why are we doing that? RJ Godzilla, they're all shocked to see an actual hero in this universe and not a weirdo / monster of a person calling themselves heroes. Yeah, except we've retconned it so that we're talking about all the heroes like they're actually heroic.
Yeah, what if Freddy got powers, just walked around like threatening to turn people into stands? It's like that's what heroes do.
Take notes, Zack Snyder.
And now we're about to get like the most awkward scene of the movie.
Yeah, and you just don't do this if you can't get the actor. And even if they got it, even if they got him, it would still be kind of awkward, just because this doesn't feel like that same universe. And like, I guess it sort of lines up with Whedon's Justice League better than anything, but I don't really know what that mess was. So like, I wouldn't have wanted Cavill to come in here and do the same performance he was giving in Justice League, which is what that would have been. So anyway you slice it, just don't do this. In fact, what they actually do is probably better than if Cavill was here. And that's not me throwing shade at Cavill.
Well, and this is I think a sweeter payoff where it's like he doesn't need Superman. He found his family, like they're all coming to support him.
Well, yeah, but isn't Superman going to come in and just his head's cut off?
No, I know. I'm saying that this is a sweeter ending, like without the Superman part.
Oh, you're saying just don't even have it.
Just don't even have it. Like this is already nicer. I said that before Shazam came in.
Yeah, so I didn't know what we were talking about. Yeah, no, I got you.
Yeah, I said it when just the family sat down before Shazam walked in.
Yeah, no, you're right. It would have been better if he's just like doing his friend a solid.
Oh, the Ramones played in the credits. For some reason, I thought they played during that training montage, but it was the Queen song.
Oh, and you're right. Peter Safran is here by now.
Yeah, he jumps on with Aquaman, and now I think he's just a producer moving forward.
Okay, great. I like this gag. I think it's funny because they couldn't get the actor. Well, I was complaining about it.
It's funny for that.
And then I saw it, and it's only for a couple of seconds, then it cuts right to credits. It's better than I gave it credit for. But I still don't think you needed it.
Well, then it becomes more awkward when you get to 2.
Oh, yeah. Why was his glass eye a compass? That's weird.
Oh, it's the thing that Billy had, like, from his mom.
Oh, okay.
We merged 2 things for it, yeah.
That's cool. I missed that this time out.
These are neat credits. I like this.
So yeah, I am appreciating again, like why I was liking this in the theater in a way I didn't last time I looked at this. Like some of that is coming back to me. Just you and I like talking over it. And again, I might have just not been in the right mood for it, or this might just not work without more audience. I don't know.
I also like with these credits for the kids, we're doing both the kid and adult at the same time.
Oh yeah, good call.
That's fun. But yeah, well, like I said, I didn't even like this movie on a first viewing, but just you and I talking about it, I enjoyed it a lot more.
It's all right, yeah.
It's okay. Again, I don't know if I'll ever go back to it, but it was solid.
So we should read the rest of these comments.
Yes.
How many do you have left? I've got 2, 3.
I've got 2.
I've got 3.
Okay, you go first.
Okay. Okay, great. Favorite scene, Billy Batson reuniting with his mom. The film allows the scene to be gut-wrenching and doesn't undercut it with a joke. It does undercut it with the contrived backstory, but that's just me. Billy Batson is the best thing about the movie. I find him and his foster family very charming. I agree. What I would change, I thought I liked Zachary Levi, but after the Shazam 2 press tour, see, I've got the same thing. I'm not so sure. Regardless, it's clear he and the kid actor for Billy Batson never met. They are not playing the same character recast. Although I will say, I saw a podcast with him a little bit more recently, where he didn't seem as ridiculous. And then he says the thing he's surprised by John Glover. When DC needs a terrible father figure, they know who to call.
Here we are with our greatest, second greatest post-credit scene of this Mania.
Oh, and you disappeared on me again. It's so weird. It keeps doing that.
Weird, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why. Oh yeah, I forgot about this Mr. Mind thing. It's so ridiculous they made a sequel and they didn't make him the main villain.
No, and then the after credit scene of that one is this after credit scene, except he's like, "It's taken me a while, Savannah, but so I am ready to go."
Oh, and it's 7 because 7 realms. Yeah, I forgot about that. So yeah, I'm actually dreading Shazam 2 even more now because I kind of had fun with this. This time, and
especially because like
movie sucks.
Yeah, and they're gonna go a lot bigger and dumber. All that good stuff. Dumber.
Are you gonna be on for that one, or is that gonna be after you're already having to leave?
Well, that and Flash are the same night.
Oh, okay.
Captain Coon, favorite scene / moment when Billy confronts his mom. It was so real. That seems to be the consistent thing with everyone.
Yeah.
Things I'd change. Get rid of Mr. Mind.
That's hilarious.
The thing that surprised me, that it was actually good.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm with you. I don't need to rewatch this, but then I'm also thinking some of my kids that haven't seen this would probably really like it.
Yeah, this is probably a fun movie to watch with kids.
I don't think my wife has seen this because when it came out, she had no interest, and she was like, "Don't make me watch that." And I don't know if she actually saw it. I don't think she did.
You guys can watch it at Christmas.
Probably not, though.
Probably won't, though. You'll watch Batman Returns instead.
She hates that, too. Bag Studios, best scene when he meets his mom in the apartment. Yep, that's the consensus, folks. That's the scene that elevates the material above just another comic book movie for me. The thing I'd change, Zachary Levi. I didn't mind him. That's also the consensus. I didn't mind him when it came out, but every time I think about going back to this movie, I think of his Diet Seth Rogen laugh and decide against it. He just kind of grates on me now, and I think the sequel had a lot to do with that, unfortunately. Yep. So that's also a big consensus. Biggest surprise, I knew nothing about the character the first time, and barely know much more now, to be honest. And I had no idea there was a whole cast of Marvels in the comics. That was neat to get surprised by. I didn't see it coming. And a lot of people had that. Whether you knew Shazam or not, a lot of people had that.
Yeah, I didn't expect them to do that. That's a place where it's going very off script for what we typically do. Like, this is the only place we've really done the, bring back the whole Golden Age family thing.
Yeah, you're right. And this is a pretty formulaic superhero movie, but that's the one place where it kind of runs off. Joe Turner.
That's something new.
Misspelled Shazam as Shamaz, which is wonderful. He also says the scene between Billy and his mom, well performed and very human for a bombastic superhero flick. What main thing would you change? I wouldn't cast conventionally handsome 6-foot-tall Mark Strong as Dr. Sivana, famously a tiny goblin man, just because he's bald. See, I don't know anything about the character, so I'm sure I would have that too.
Same.
What surprised you most? How horrific a few of the scenes were. A lot of people saying that too. but I liked how it feels like sort of a tribute to old PG adventure films with just enough edge to make kids feel like they were watching something more mature. Yep, exactly. And I'm caught up now.
So from Super Billy, he says his favorite thing is Billy's reunion with his mom. The thing that he would change is he would tweak the performances of and dialogue for Zachary Levi and Asher Angel to rectify Shazam and Billy's different personalities. So his is more so he would change both of them to be equivalent, not just Zachary Levi.
Okay.
And the things that he was most surprised by is the fact that I have mixed feelings on it.
Oh.
Oh. Is that in a good way or a bad way? Were you expecting to really not like it, or?
Oh, I thought he meant that you had mixed feelings about it. He's like, the thing that surprised me most is that Austin has mixed feelings.
That was my biggest surprise walking out of the theater, man. Like, this guy, you didn't like it?
This guy that I don't know.
But I see this, like months after it was in the theater. Like, I don't see this in the theater, so...
But even if you had...
You knew my opinion right away.
Even if you weren't on the channel yet, that guy would not know who you were.
Mm-hmm. Life finds a way.
You know, you can't say that Shazam doesn't have any Shazams in it.
Mm-hmm. It has a serious lack of Kazams, though, as we found out.
Or chasms, if you prefer.
Mm-hmm. But it's got a lot of Shazams.
Many Shazams.
Mary Shazam, Shazam Jr., whatever the rest of them are called.
Yeah, I don't actually know them. All 6 of them.
And Blackest Adam. Special thanks to Gary Frank, Andy Kubert, and Jerry Ordway.
Oh, cool.
I'm surprised it was so few. Normally that's like quite a big list.
Yeah, and relatively modern creators. I would have thought you'd see somebody from further back than that.
Yeah, no kidding.
How often do you see Jerry Ordway in Special Thanks? I feel like that doesn't come up very often.
Yeah, it makes sense for this because I think he's like the big post-crisis Shazam writer. I've got the first trade of his run, but I haven't read it yet.
I don't even remember this after credits.
Nor do I. I just remember Mr. Mind.
Well, this is another place where it's just a Marvel movie now, where it's got the mid and the post. Wow, that was completely unnecessary.
That was like a Peacemaker after credits scene where it was just an extended gag from a scene earlier in the movie.
Yeah.
Where it was like, we cut that down.
Why did
it's like, but we like that joke, so just put it at the end of the credits.
Okay. Those always crack me up because the few people that will stay in the theater will see that, and then you'll hear somebody be like, "That's it." It's always pretty funny.
I could have been home 10 minutes ago, but I waited for that.
I could have been eating my Taco Bell.
And I love Taco Bell.
I don't know what.
It's like,
I'm not sure what this voice is.
The grease leaks down onto the floor.
Like, is he Defoe again? Like, what is this voice we're doing?
He's a greasy man that waited through the credits of Shazam.
Well, Austin, that has been the biggest surprise for me so far.
No, I feel like that's the one we were the most positive about, just across the board.
And I wasn't expecting that. I actually kind of thought this one was going to be boring and we would struggle to think of things to say, but it was actually fun to respond to.
Yeah.
I was nervous.
I had that really hard. I think I said this to you off camera last night where I was like, I'm worried about tomorrow with Shazam. I feel like it's going to be really boring.
I'm more nervous about this.
And then we're going to watch Birds of Prey.
Yeah, because this I just absolutely abhorred in the theater. And I have played up over the years how much I hate this movie. But truth be told, I don't remember it very well. And there is that, like, minute possibility that something will click this time, I guess. you have to put away like the name of it and the characters I loved that they did completely differently and all of that. But we'll talk about it here in a little bit. Austin and I are going to take about a 10 to 15 minute break. We'll be back with another stream here in a little bit, and we will in fact do the aforementioned Birds of Prey and the yada 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 of Harley Quinn. It's gonna be weird going back to this, and I know I'm always wrong when I say this because I end up just talking a lot, but this one I feel like I should just be kind of looking at and not talk as much, but we'll see what happens.
No, and this one I don't think I will have that because I've seen the better film that they're riffing on.
Oh, okay. I wasn't even sure where you landed on this. Like, I knew you weren't like the biggest fan of it, but I didn't know if you hated it like I did.
No, I really don't like this movie, so I'm very nervous.
Oh,
but I've only seen it once because we're at the point where if I've seen them, I've only seen them once, except for Blackest Adam and the Suicide Squad.
Have you only seen Flash once?
Yes, I started to watch it in a watch party.
You told me about this.
Yeah,
like, somebody went to sleep, and you're like, "Screw it, we're not doing this."
Yeah, it was like, "Oh, he picked it, so screw it. We're turning this off."
Well, guys, thanks for joining us. I hope you had a good time, and I hope you can come back for the next one, or take a look at it after the fact if you're so inclined. And in the meantime, I was Captain Logan, and this was Austin, the Day Ghost.
Shazam!
Chasm. Bye, everybody.
See ya.